All right, folks, we are at Sema 2024. We're sharing a booth today with XS Power, Lithium Pros, and JY Power. We're going to go over some of the new products that are coming out either right now as this video rolls or early 2025. We're going to go ahead. I'm going to grab Jacob here in a minute, but first, let's talk about the first item we got in line. This is the Compact Neo V3. It is not a new subwoofer. However, we are bringing it back on the market for the general consumer. As you may know, this woofer has held its own in the lanes as one of the loudest subwoofers ever created. With a 3.3-inch coil, this can be built any way you want. The way that you see it built today is we could say the most musical way you're ever going to see this woofer built, with the Mega Roll platform, Sundown frame, and we're using an aluminum coil 3.3-inch today in this particular build. But basically, when you order this, we will build it however you want it. We're looking at a roughly 3,000 watts for this type of setup, but as you know, in the lanes, you can build it up to however you need for that burp setup to get you winning in the lanes today. We're gonna go ahead and meet up with Jacob Fuller here. This particular woofer is the Z8. This will be out fairly shortly, early 2025. Jacob, tell us a little bit about this woofer.
Sure. All right. So this has a custom tooled frame that I designed actually about 5 years ago now. This frame is oversized. It's more close to like a 9-inch. Has the square mounting flange, basically the thing that I tell people that keeps the drill away from the surround, so gets rid of that issue. This has the new Mega Roll V3 shape. So as you can see, it's like a little bit pointier. This was fully computer optimized. Coming down, we have this custom tooled spider that we spent a lot of time getting right, and we're going to tell you why here in a second. Because this thing has 30 millimeters of one-way linear stroke by 70% BL, and about 45 millimeters one way before it bottoms out. Incredible. As far as I know, there's really nothing else available like that. Moving down a little bit more, we have our Sundown aluminum vent ring, gives us extra power handling, and then this particular basket has fins on the outside and the inside. You can't see the inside fins, but when the spider goes up and down, it blows air across it, and this transmits the heat up into the basket for extremely good long-term power handling. The voice coil is a 2.75-inch, 65 millimeters long, aluminum round wire. Coming down to the motor, we have a nice triple stack, 190 millimeter magnet structure with an internal shorting ring, and we have highly optimized, really smooth airflow, so you don't get a lot of mechanical noise out of this thing whatsoever. And it's going to be right around 2,000 watts RMS.
We're going to walk to the back of the booth here, and we're going to check out the SA1T and the SA3M. These are brand new, coming out within the next month or two. Jacob, what do we got going on over here?
All right, so we have the display here with the custom speaker pod setup, which you can get with them on, but we'll start here with the new SA1T. So we've been selling an SA tweeter for many years, but this is the newest iteration. Some of the cool things about this is, despite being extremely short, this thing has an FS of around 700 hertz, so it gives you crossover flexibility wherever you want. 28 millimeter silk dome, and a lot of the times people will say, oh, well, the silk domes aren't loud enough. Well, we took care of that. This is 92 dB with 1 watt sensitive, so this thing is going to give you a ton of output, and also sound really smooth since it is a silk dome, and there's like a nice tuned little chamber in here to keep everything under control. Now moving on, we have the SA3M here. You can see the front of it here. This is a very tight weave carbon, so this gives it an extremely smooth and linear frequency response. It technically could be used as a wideband up to 20,000 hertz and play down extremely low. Now the reason it can play down so low compared to a lot of threes is you can see it kind of looks like a little subwoofer here, and in that vein, this thing has 5 millimeters of one-way linear excursion by 70% BL and about 8 millimeters before anything bottoms out. And that has, in that range, completely flat linear suspension, inductive performance that's fantastic. There's dual shorting rings in here, and not only does it have this nice beefy ferrite motor, but there's an aluminum pole cap. So this thing is absolutely extraordinary for sound quality, but it also, excuse me, will take a beating from our customers that want to turn things up and just crank it up to 11.
Now, Jacob, missing on this table, and they're still in production, are the 6.5-inch or the 8-inch now mid bass speakers that can go along with this. And this is an a la carte setup. Instead of purchasing a kit that is just considered a component kit with a crossover, we're now allowing a la carte. You can run these actively, and we've got the tweeter, the 3-inch, and you can go 6.5 or 8-inch all in one set.
And the 8-inch will be coming out first. Yes, we still do have some of the V3 6.5s in stock. Now the 8 is extremely high performance. There's really not a lot of things that will compete with SA8M. It has 9 millimeters of one-way stroke. Same thing, extremely flat BL, you know, given it's an underhung, an extremely flat compliance curve, and the inductive performance is all handled with shorting rings as well. And for those that know me personally, I personally tested out the SA 8-inch in my own truck, and let me tell you, I have never heard a mid-bass anywhere near that price level that sounded that amazing. I actually, when I switched back to the Vex 8, I was like, man, I'm actually missing a little bit of that mid bass. You almost don't need a subwoofer, folks. So I can't wait for this. And let's go ahead and walk over to the NeoPro V4 12. This is our first 12-inch NeoPro we've ever made. And a little spoiler alert, the next few videos you see us post are going to be using this speaker pod with this exact speaker in my truck. So we're going to take the 8-inch out, and we're going to go ahead and do an install on the 12-inch. Jacob, tell us about how amazing this NeoPro 12 is. All right, now first of all, one thing I want to do is go around to the back. And you can see, look how short this thing is. So this is a 12 that you could realistically mount in your door as long as you have the service area. The depth is really not a problem. Now we'll go back to the front and check this out. Again, it's got that tight weave real carbon fiber, okay? 2.75-inch coil. And given this is a PA speaker, this is pretty exceptional. This has 5 millimeters of one-way linear stroke, and it's 99 dB sensitive. You know, that's a really cool combination. And given that we were really concerned about mid-bass performance on this, this thing has an FS below 60 hertz. So when you're going to be crossing this mid-bass over, most people are going to be crossing around 70, but it gives you the flexibility if you really want to go down to 60 or even in the 50s on your crossover, you'll be able to do that. And as with the other SA speakers, the new stuff, you know, very smooth, very little top end breakup. You know, they roll off really well, and exceptional power handling. It's going to be somewhere around 400 watts RMS with a crossover on it.
Yep. And at the release of this video, this speaker just became available. So go ahead and find your local dealer and get yourself a NeoPro 12. And don't forget, we make a 10-inch, an 8-inch, and a 6.5-inch as well. Let's move over to the SD series now. Anybody who's been a big Sundown fan for many years knows that the SD series has been out for a long time. We're working on the SD5. And Jacob, what's the biggest difference you're going to find from SD4 to SD5?
All right. One of the big concerns I had with the SD series is I want to make it not only better, but also more affordable. The SD4 had a Neo motor with a 2.5-inch coil. Now, this is really cool. This is a ferrite motor with a 4.5-inch coil. So we went to the 4.5-inch coil so it could still fit the motor inside the coil. So it's a cup setup. So 4.5-inch coil, also underhung, just as all the SDs starting at the 3 have been. And this gives you about 12.5 millimeters one-way linear stroke. And that's with a flat, completely flat BL curve being underhung. All right, now coming around to the front, it has our W surround, which this is a technology that we've been working on for a while. We've used it on the SD4 and the U6.5, and we're working on a bigger version. But long story short, the W surround allows us to tailor the suspension curve. So we can make it really flat in the center, but where this is a shallow, we don't want it to move too far and bottom out, right? So we can see that the rolls vary. The outer rolls are a little smaller. So the excursion starts on the center rolls, and then when it's beyond the capacity of the center rolls, it goes to the smaller outer rolls and stiffens up. So it's going to be really hard to bottom this out, despite the fact that it's a kind of soft, compliant sound quality driver. And another cool thing, this is a Santoprene surround, polypropylene carrier, carbon fiber dust cap. So the front of this thing is basically water resistant. So like if you were one of those guys that has like your bags on your bike or something like that, you could also use this in there and get your sound quality on the road.
And for anybody who is familiar with the SML series or wants to upgrade from the SML series, this is essentially your next big upgrade.
Yep. And same frame.
Yeah,
so
same frame, same depth, a little more output and a lot more sound quality.
Yep.
Let's move on over to the last item that we're showcasing today. This here is the new M series. We're looking at early 2025 for the release, maybe even before if we can get them, a little bit sooner. But the only thing missing here is the motor boot. This will be the first woofer in line that we have a motor boot that actually says the series. And I think starting from this point on, we're going to find that we can differentiate which woofer you have.
A little bit more cosmetics.
It'll actually say M series on the motor. Jacob, this woofer we're finding is actually priced below the U series. And being a budget-friendly subwoofer, I don't think you're going to find anything on the market like this.
No, absolutely not.
In a Megaroll series type of woofer. Right. Tell us a little bit more technically about
we
this.
have the Mega platform that everybody knows and loves, the Mega Surround, the Sundown platform basket. Now, where it starts to differentiate a little bit, coming down to the motor. This motor is a quad stack motor, about 200 millimeter diameter, but this is where it gets really cool to me. So the voice coil in this is larger than almost any 3-inch coil driver we've ever sold, and this is our new entry-level Mega platform driver. This is a 3-inch coil, 87 millimeters long. So the thermal power handling is out of this world. And then, but this has a softer suspension than any of our other Mega platforms as well, and giving you a lower FS, and the Q is a little higher, so this again gives you a little bit of flexibility. So not only can you do a ported or sealed box like normal, this would actually be great for infinite baffle installation because the Q is around 0.6, 0.65 depending on the size. So you can pretty much do anything with it, but at the same time it's going to give you that excellent SPL and smooth frequency response and low end extension of all the other Mega platform drivers at a significantly lower cost.
Let's talk a little bit about the coil because the M series is going to share a coil with the XV4, which will be out slightly after this, which we're not showcasing at the moment. Let's talk a little bit about that coil. It's a very special coil.
Yeah, and I don't want to give away all the magic sauce, but it is a special coil. It's an 87 millimeter long round wire, and we're putting a dual 2 and a dual 1 in the same gap without any performance compromise from either impedance. And I don't want to give away the sauce beyond there, but it's really cool.
Maybe I shouldn't have said anything.
I'm not aware of anybody else using that particular trick.
And
I think that it's going to result in a product that's significantly better. Now, we did have an extreme abuse test on this coil. We sent a custom-built ZV5 with this coil in it to Carlos Rodriguez for his extreme van, and he burped over 33,000 watts on this coil with 0 damage. And that coil is going to be in what we call our entry-level Mega platform. So, thermal power handling really through the roof.
Yeah, it's pretty kick-ass.
I'm super happy with it.
And again, the price point on the M series is below the U series, same wattage, and you're not going to find anything even near that price point on a Megaroll platform. So.
No, nothing that's truly engineered that has like extremely linear performance.
Well, folks, that's it for the showcase here at SEMA 2024. Thank you for coming, and thank you for watching, and get with your local dealer, find all the new products that are coming out this year. Thank you.